Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, NFTs, crypto, and Web3. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, I have a very special guest with me today. She is an NFT artist. Please welcome Niloufar. Hello, Niloufar, and welcome to the show.
Hey Asia, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me for this talk. I'm
Yeah,
super
yeah, you're most
excited.
welcome. Yeah, your work is absolutely really cool. So I want to go ahead and get started with this interview by asking where are you from and how'd you get started into art?
I'm basically from Iran,
Hmm.
Tehran, but right now I'm based in Italy because I've been studying my, master's degree in
Hmm.
sustainable architecture here. I just, graduated on April, and
Hmm.
now I'm still here. Yeah. And my art, it's like a long journey because I guess it started since I was a little kid. I
Hmm.
was, fascinated always by colors, and I love to draw. I
Right,
have an aunt, and she's an architect, so I was super curious. I was always next to her, seeing what she does, and she
right.
taught me some stuff. So that's maybe when I was born, the art journey began somehow. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, like I've always been inspired by like bright colors. That's just the thing with bright colors. It really attracts your eye, especially like if you look at birds or like flowers that have very
Yeah.
bright color palettes. That's what I find very cool with nature is this the bright colors you can't go wrong.
Yeah, nature is always like an inspiration to me for the colors. I'm in love with colors. Yeah, I love to use them a lot in my work.
Yeah, that's really amazing. But I also want to get into as well, like what is like your favorite art era, or is there any like particular artist that you're very inspired by?
Uh, I have I have different favorite artists in different like styles of art, but I
Hmm.
guess due to my style, I'm really into cubism. So Pablo Picasso, of course,
Right.
he's the most favorite one for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like late 90s, yeah, like 90s.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, Picasso, like what's so remarkable about his work, like, and he's, one of the pioneers of the Cubism era. And,
Yes.
he really was known for like he started doing like realistic like portraits and things like that, but he evolved into more of like, Cubist style of what we know today, with geometric
Yeah.
shapes and, having that type of expressionism like through his work.
Exactly. You know what I love about his work is that's because I resonate with his way of creating his pieces. Is that it's like you let go. You because to me creating each piece is like I pour my emotions,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just don't care when I start like what it's going to come out. I just go with the flow, and
Hmm.
I love to have different characters in one part, in one piece,
Hmm.
different characters in different angles. So I
Hmm.
think he's the one that he did it perfectly in his
Hmm.
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because like I just love how like with being this geometric style, like, he also showcases a lot of movement within his
Yeah.
work as well. That's the same thing with like Keith Haring. Like Keith Haring always had those signature,
Yeah.
like designs and figures that he would always do. And that's what I
Yeah.
like about his work is like very bold lines, very bright colors. It always
Yeah.
showcased a statement where it talked about love, death, what's going on
Exactly.
in the world. Mm,
Exactly, it's I think the reason why I create art is also because to me it's like meditation, but at the same time, since I'm like I have a lot of dark moments in life,
right.
so it's my way to express my feelings. And as you said, like all these artists are doing this, like when you look at a piece, it doesn't focus you on like a certain spot. You see a
Right.
lot of things happening and you have to roll your eyes. It's just
Hmm.
I like how it touches the eye. And to me it's a mixture of shapes and colors, because I believe like colors like transfer those emotions very strongly. And
Right.
I love to, share it with colors because, the whole world is like colorful, and
Hmm.
I get inspired by that.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. That's the thing. Like, I love when people showcase their colors. Even with Jean-Michel Basquiat, like, I love how he uses line work in different ways, and
Yeah.
the figures is like his own unique style where he talks about like different issues that happen in the world as well, just as much as Keith Haring. And that's what makes his work so unique. And his pieces are selling for like millions of dollars.
Yeah. I hope that with this, NFT, with this phenomena that's happening, more
Right.
artists are going to, uh, you know, um, get there. I think it's more achievable right now for the artists to get more exposure, to
Yeah.
to build a life out of art, which like before it wasn't available for everyone. Like some artists, like Picasso, he made really good living when he was alive, but mostly it's not
Right.
the case. So
Hmm.
I think this is something that we are like what we are experiencing now, living in this era. I think is really interesting. Gives us a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Now, what are some of like your favorite like art mediums, whether it's like pastel, watercolor, marker? Like, what are some mediums that you like to use when creating artwork?
Uh, okay, so it's like I use different mediums based off my mood.
Hmm.
I love acrylic color a lot. Like I prefer it to oil because acrylic is like faster, because
Right.
I tend to create art like intuitively. I go with the flow. I see how it goes, and
Hmm.
since it dries faster, it lets me I don't have to stop. I can go with it. But oil
Right.
doesn't give me that privilege. I have to wait, and so I love acrylic. But these pieces, like that my name, I put my name as FREAKLAND, but my real name is Niloufar. And
Hmm.
this word FREAKLAND is a FREAKLAND mama. It's like the creator of FREAKLAND, and FREAKLAND is my imaginary world that I
Hmm.
started to create 2 years ago in the quarantine time. I was having these dark days, and I
Right.
wanted to pour my emotions. And
Hmm.
for those, I used fine line on glossy paper because it's
Hmm.
very fluid, and I could add many details and characters, and they were like black and white mostly. So it depends what I want to create. I also do digital, so
Hmm.
you know there are a lot of different styles and mediums I love to use.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
really,
it's
really amazing.
spontaneous.
But I also want to get into as well, like, what's like your favorite like digital program to use when doing like digital art?
And my favorite is Photoshop for sure, but now I'm using Procreate since I'm like drawing in my iPad. But many of my pieces, especially my self-expression portraits, when I first started in NFTs, I
Hmm.
drew them in Photoshop with like this vacuum uh, pads.
Hmm.
Which is like sometimes a little bit weird because I couldn't see, like it's like a mouse you have to draw, but it's cool.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's really,
Yeah,
really cool. Yeah, I'm like Illustrator. I'm a fan designer. Like, I'm more into affinity designer because it's like a cheap alternative to Illustrator, to where like you only pay $50 and that's really it. You have it the rest of your life.
yeah.
But the thing is that I like vector programs because it gives you that like option to vectorize or raster a file, but also
Yes.
to really, really use it for like different things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not just have it as like a physical like thing. It could also be like a
Yeah.
digital photo. It could also be for like just different things. You know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like vector based, and it gives you a lot of like opportunities to go further. It's super cool, I think, Illustrator also.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, most definitely. Now, how did you get started within like NFTs?
I think I started in December 21, like
Mm-hmm.
10 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Iran last year, and there I didn't have any idea, how to start on NFTs. I didn't know about Twitter Spaces. I didn't know how to, promote my work. So I heard about NFTs, I guess, from this news about Beeple making $69 million selling a piece like that collage of his pieces. And I got curious what is NFTs, and I read about it, but I didn't have any idea how to go on with it. I put some art on OpenSea, but I didn't go to Twitter. I didn't have any idea about Twitter. So it sit there for
Mm-hmm.
from like few months. And then I came here to Italy again, and I realized it's Twitter. I came on December, I started, and since then it was a good experience somehow. I really love it.
Wow, that's really, really cool. Now, in regards to having NFTs or selling NFTs, like what has been your whole experience in terms of like pricing and selling NFTs? Has it worked well? Like, what's the whole journey been like so far?
I think it's like it's not something clear and like what prices you should put. I'm always like challenged with myself how to price my work, especially in the beginning.
Right,
I think I changed my prices many times before I, finally make that right decision and,
right.
sell the pieces. Because you can start. I really love to. I think like my pieces were worth more, so I priced it super high. I didn't know like how is the market. But it's, I think when you see more artists in the space,
Mhm.
you find it out how to price your work somehow, what works for you and
Yeah,
for
yeah.
your audience.
Yeah, yeah, I could totally agree because like and pricing can be hard too. You know what I mean? You don't want to
Yeah,
price like, too high or too low. You want to price like what you're worth, and but also you want to kind of be reasonable to a certain degree. You know what I mean? When you price your artwork or just with anything. That's like with
yeah,
me, being in the beauty industry, like, when people do nails, like people charge like $100, $200 or so for a nail service. And it's like, they consider the time, the quality of the products, how much time it takes to do like a set and things like that. So different components come into,
yeah,
having or performing a nail service. Same thing with artwork. Like, the art products that we use to create art are not cheap. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Even,
yeah,
even if they're inexpensive, like we're spending a lot of time to really create a body of work that's worthwhile. You know what I mean? And something that we could
yeah.
be proud of, that we could put out into the world.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's not always about the timing in creating art. It's like the background of the artist.
Right.
Each artist, they go through a lot. They learn.
Hmm.
They experiment. They put a lot of time to learn and to find their own style. And
Hmm.
so when you price a piece of art, it's not
Hmm.
exactly like the amount of work or the amount of time that you put on it. And I think it's mostly also based on how well known you are in the art industry. So when you
Right.
first start, it's not easy to price your work, even if it's worth it that high. You have to make yourself better known to your audience, then you can probably go higher a bit by time.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. I think that, it just takes time for you to get to that level where you can price high and stuff like that. So I think it's also to like really learn to establish yourself as an artist. The more
Yes.
work you put out in your own style, the more people can really gravitate towards it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because I know like many good artists that just started out in the NFTs, and they are like pricing their work super low.
Hmm.
But it can be a policy. It can work for some. So I think everyone should do their own research, as we always say, and to experiment with different prices to see how it works for them. It's not a certain like a formula that we like artists can calculate and put the price on. It's an
Hmm.
experiment.
Yeah, right, exactly. But also too, you have to really market yourself too. That's how
Yeah,
people will notice your work. Like if you put out on social media, if you have a website and stuff like that, just really like promote so people like, yo, like support me in
exactly.
my work, especially with NFTs. A lot of people are doing, a lot of artists are getting involved with NFTs. And that's something I plan to do down the line, is to have my own thing of NFTs, my own line of like artwork as NFTs. Because this is
Yeah,
this is where stuff is going now. The technology is getting, more and more advanced, to where people are utilizing crypto to make money off of NFTs. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's the
That's
thing.
the most important part, to to advertise yourself, to make yourself as a brand, to make your brand known to the
Hmm.
collectors, to other artists, to the um, especially in NFTs, it doesn't work like if we just put our art out there and someone's going to grab it. No, it's like based on the community. You have to be in the community. You have to be supportive. You have to be willing to hear others, support them. It's like a interaction.
Right.
Um, yeah, so you have to do a lot of networking, and sometimes it's not that easy because
Yeah.
you can get overwhelmed. It happens to me, to a lot of other my friends, other artists. It's you have to keep that line always to be active and show yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You definitely want to put yourself out there, because that's very, very important. Especially if you want to make money selling NFTs. That's what I meant to say. I went the other way around, like crypto NFTs. but but yeah, but the thing is that, and yeah, it's not easy. You have to really like also stand out too in regards to, the NFT space, the Web3 space, because a lot of people putting out their artwork and stuff like that,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
it's becoming more saturated, and like the
Mhm.
number of collectors are not that much regarding to the number of artists that they are, becoming more and more every day. So you
Right.
have to really stand out. You have to have a message. You have to, have your own style. You have to have a niche, and have some value to add to the community, so they can remember you. They can connect with you. It's really important, I guess.
Regards to your artwork, do you freestyle for the most part? Do you plan your artwork? Like, what is that whole process like in terms of like creating artwork?
So as I told you, I'm an intuitive artist. So every piece I make, it's like I just listen to my intuition. I listen to
Okay.
my feelings, and I just let it go.
Hmm.
There are some times that I put like a certain maybe idea in mind, but in the process, like the intuition is always there, and I always trust it. Because the best pieces I created are the ones that I was more free. I felt more free while doing it. I didn't restrict myself. So
Right.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
that's
how
really,
I
really cool.
create. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Like, when you freestyle and stuff like that, I'm that same way too. Like I like to freestyle, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Sometimes I like to plan my stuff out where I just do a sketch and I just go from there. You know what I mean? So I'll
Yeah.
plan it and I'll just freestyle the rest.
Cool. I think that's super cool. To me, it's like I'm experiment. I'm exploring my subconscious mind somehow. Because
Mhm.
I believe that we are all connected to like a whole energy. Like this world that we are living, and it's also the idea behind all of my work, that we are all connected. We are connected to this energy.
Mhm.
And so when I set myself free, I get a lot of inspiration. a lot of amazing things appear in
Right.
my art, which if I like strict myself, it might not be the case, you know. um,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to also share that message, because if you have seen, I use a lot of eyes in all of my work, and you know, those eyes are those feelings and impressions I'm trying to show, because to me eyes are the way I connect with people and I see their emotions. So I like to show emotions, expressions through the eyes in my work. And like behind them, there are a lot of characters and creatures that I believe they are living somewhere in the world. And you know, when I create, they
Right.
just come. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's like an adventure every time I create a piece. Really, it's like every time I'm super excited how it will go to turn out. And it's, you know what, it's crazy is that sometimes I draw people that I have met, or like some
Hmm.
family members, but when I
Hmm.
started, I didn't know I was drawing them. But when
Mm.
it's finished, I say, oh, you know, it looks like my mom, or, you know, this is my grandma, or
Right.
even like other people that I have met. That's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, what I find so remarkable about your work, like how you said before, you like to express emotion, but I also like how you're about mental health and the importance of that. But I definitely want you to touch more on about mental health and how important that is to really express that in your work.
Yeah. Um, you know, as I told you, I'm always challenged by my own feelings, because
Right.
I have a lot of dark moments. And like when it was in quarantine time in COVID, I had a lot of, I was depressed a lot. And that was when FREAKLAND got born, this, you know, intuitive word that I'm creating.
Hmm.
And you know, it started by I was doing a lot of you know, yoga, meditation, and I felt this energy and that's surrounding all of us. And
Right.
I realized that, you know, I have to accept my darkness, because it is the how the whole world is working. It's like yin and yang, you know. It's like those
Right.
contrary forces that are creating this world. If you get one,
Hmm.
you won't like, we have to have darkness to see the day, you know, to see the
Right.
brightness. So I'm every time I'm doing art, you know, there are a lot of times that I'm sad, and I start to create a piece, and it also helps me to feel better, you know,
Hmm.
creating a piece. And I also remind myself that, you know, these darknesses are there to remind us that there are good things also, you know, it will pass, nothing is forever. So I'm
Right.
trying to show that in my work, all those different emotions. It can be
Hmm.
sadness, happiness, confusion, many different emotions. And I
Hmm.
want to remind myself and to share that with others, that it's okay, that, you know, we are not always okay, you know, it's
Right.
life. And we have to accept it in order to be able to go on. Otherwise, we cannot make it, you know. We have
Hmm.
to accept the darkness.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. There's always going to be that balance between the light and darkness. You know, that's just like how you said. That's part of how life works. That's how it functions. And the thing
Yeah.
is that I went through my share of like anxiety, and things like that. Mental health is a real mental health is a real thing, and it's something that a lot of people go through, especially like how you said during the lockdown, during the pandemic. There's been
Yeah.
a lot of like stuff about mental health, and I like how people are just so more that people I like how people are so vocal about it now, in regards to
Yeah.
mental health, and like, yo, it's okay to not be okay, or if you need help, there's a support line and stuff like that. So that's where I find very, very cool, because there's also some Twitter spaces that can be safe space for you to express how you're feeling, like the Twitter space that you host. Not
Yeah.
only people showcasing their work and their NFT collections, but also talking about their day, talking about their mental health and things like that.
Exactly. I think what is really happening now is all this social media. You know, there is not, I think, I believe that it's not always positive about social media. I think we
Right.
have to manage it and control how much we are engaged with it, because we
Mm-hmm.
need certain time for ourselves, to have some quality time with ourselves, to go
Right.
deep and connect. But also the other good part about social media is that we hear and connect more,
Right.
so that we can realize that we are not alone. We realize that there are a lot of people in different conditions, in different situations. No matter
Right.
how much money they have, no matter where in the world they live, we are all
Mm-hmm.
experiencing these emotions, these darknesses. We are all vulnerable, and we now realize that it's okay, and we can share it somehow. We
Right.
can come and talk about it, and I think it's really important to talk about it, especially with others, with people that you are more like-minded, so you can
Mm-hmm.
help each other. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the beauty of being in a community, to help each other out, to encourage each other, um, to not let that darkness limit your abilities.
Right, exactly. Yeah, most definitely. I can really agree with that wholeheartedly. But I also want to get into NFTs again because like there's been so many like types of NFTs, like different styles of artwork out in regards to an NFT and Web3 space. And I definitely want to ask you, like, in pertaining to NFTs, has there been like certain NFTs that you've gravitated towards or certain NFT collections?
Uh, if you're talking about PFP collections, like Bored Apes, like these kind of collections, I don't have any idea because I don't follow them. Uh, like I know that some of these projects, like Bored Ape, they have cool community. They have a lot of things that are good for their collectors. But I tend to be more about the art. I love
Hmm.
to, I like to see more art rather than PFPs and
Right.
projects, so there are a couple of artists that I really like not just because of NFTs. I like their work and style because it's somehow it's close to mine, or I resonate with,
Hmm.
like Gabe Wise,
Hmm.
like Sabet. These are the many more. I have a lot of good friends also that I really love their work. Yeah, I
Hmm.
prefer like art,
Yeah,
art
yeah.
collections rather than PFC collections, let's say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I could totally understand because like with Gabe Weiss, I like what he's doing with the Stoics.
yeah,
Like I love like his art style is just so unique. And not too long ago I had a chance to interview him, and he is such a cool guy. Like he's very funny, and I like
yeah.
how he has like his own cubist type of style within his work. I love how he uses a lot of bright color, especially with Ali Sabit. Ali Sabit, his work is very, very cool. I love how he's just very loose with his line work.
Yes.
Also, his use of color is very good as well.
Yeah, yeah. I really love like I think they are super cool artists in the space, and they are
Hmm.
doing super good. I think all the artists like need to learn from these artists how they are promoting their work, because they are the successful ones in this business now. So we can learn from them somehow,
Hmm.
how they are doing it with their community, with their collectors. That's really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Now, what are some things you like to see more of in the NFT Web3 space, or what are some things that stood out to you being in the space so far?
I am not sure if I understood the second question.
Like, what are some things that like stood out to you? Like, whether it's like not only just like the NFTs, like it could be about the community, it could be about the different style of just NFTs, or what are some things that you think about? Like, what stood out to you about the Web3 NFT space?
Uh, mm, there are certain things that I really like in the space, but there is also some stuff that I really think that it should be more inclusive.
Hmm.
I know some artists that they cannot come to the spaces easily. It's difficult for them to come and speak in the spaces, and they can easily get forgotten, but they are
Hmm.
good artists. But it's somehow, it's like the more you speak in the spaces, the more people know you're a better artist, which I believe it's not the truth. It doesn't mean everyone that's doing more like social work is a better artist. There are really,
Right.
really good artists that they cannot talk about their work. They are anxious. And I think we need to find a way to help them.
Hmm.
There is an entrepreneur, Nick Kalyani, if you know him. He's doing a project like Dream DAO to help artists. It just started out, I think. I hope that they can help, artists that promote their work better,
Right.
because it's not the case with every artist to go and talk about their work. It's really challenging for some of them, which I think we have to work on it. We have to be willing to, as artists, willing to be more in the industry, but
Right.
sometimes it's not easy for everyone. So it's good to take care of them also, in the community, to find them, to try to help them to be
Hmm.
encouraged.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing because I think diversity is very, very important. I definitely believe that's something that should be improved on within the Web3 space, especially in regard to NFTs. You know what I mean? So, it would be cool to really have different walks of life, different representation, to be out there for NFTs, because I think
Mhm,
there's something, there could be something for everybody. There's enough for everybody. Everybody, can make it, some form of
mhm.
fashion in the NFT Web3 space.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think it's just started out, and no one really knows how is the right way to to
Right.
like so we are all experimenting, and we are
Mhm.
learning with each other, from each other. But it's really important that we educate ourselves, because there are also a lot of scammers, and it's becoming more and more. And like I got a scam myself, like even though I I do a lot of I try to care a lot, um,
Mhm.
but it's really challenging, and if we are not careful, we can uh,
Right.
get scammed. So there are
Yeah.
a lot of certain stuff that we need to be aware of before um, doing NFTs or being in the communities. Not
Yeah.
all the people have good intention. I get a lot of DMs, that, oh, we like your art, we want to buy your NFT, and they are all scammers. They send me like a marketplace I never heard of. We collect here. Please, like, put your art here, and it's
Mm.
just, if you click, you're gone. You're
Right.
going to lose all your assets, your
Yeah. Yeah.
collection. So
Yeah.
that's really important.
Yeah, most definitely, because that's something you have to really be aware of. Just people that just try to scam you, try to, like, really try to take your assets and things like that, because
Yeah.
we live in desperate times where people want to try to do that, and it's like, what's the worth scamming people? I don't
Yeah.
understand it, but it's like, just that's just people you have to just be aware of.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
So we have to
absolutely.
also educate each other. We
Hmm.
have to share that knowledge with each other. And I think it's pretty good. Like there are a lot of people in the space that they are trying to share their knowledge, which I think is really good.
Hmm.
But we
Yeah,
definitely need more.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, why do you think women should get involved in the NFT and Web3 space?
Um, Women. I think everyone should, like, not just women.
Hmm.
But since, like, I'm from Iran, I'm Iranian,
Hmm.
and I know a lot of, like, in my country, women um, are not that free. There are a lot of limitations. And what I like to see, like, I see there are a lot of Iranian Persian artists in the space, And I love to see it because it gives them the opportunity to, to become more, to gain freedom, to,
Right.
make their own money, to be able to create a living, and maybe even, change their life. But to
Right.
me, like that gender specification doesn't work very well. I think we are all, like we all have a certain opportunities that we have. No, nothing should limit us as
Right.
being a woman or like being a man. It doesn't matter. We all have
Mm-hmm.
to, be there, try our best.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. Last but not least, where could people find you on social media, and how could people support you, your work, and your NFTs?
And I have a website, and I recently launched my own website. It's like niloufarkiarostami.com. It's my name and last name. But I have collections on OpenSea, like in Ethereum, and I have unknown origin and foundation. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have a couple of collections here and there, and
Mm-hmm.
I have a collection that's sold out in OpenSea. It's my self-expression portrait.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but I have a link
Congratulations.
tree in my profile on Twitter. Also, I love to connect with people on Twitter, on Instagram. Yeah, there are a lot of ways to, connect with me. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Well, thank you so much, Niloufar, for jumping onto the show. Your work is absolutely great. I love the expressionism. I love your use of color. I'm glad that we had a
Thank you
chance to
so
connect
much.
through. I'm glad we had a chance to connect through Twitter. That's how I met you, and I got exposed to your work. But thank you so much. I had a fun time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asia. Yeah, I had a great time, and I hope that we talk more later.
Yeah, I hope so
It was
too.
so fun. It was so fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Bye bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, asiatedbird.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews involving Web3, NFTs, crypto, and the metaverse.